Today we're going to be reacting to why invading the UK is nearly impossible.
I wonder. I mean, they're an island. That's an advantage.
The Germans couldn't do it. The Romans couldn't conquer the whole thing.
Yeah. What else is there to this, though?
Let's figure it out. Here we go.
Surrounded by water, rich with resources, and packed with history. Who wouldn't want to own a piece of it? The Romans did it. The Normans pulled it off. But in modern times, not a chance. Plenty have tried, all have failed. And not just because they weren't good enough, because invading the UK is nearly impossible. The Spanish thought they could sail right in, only to get shredded by British cannons and the weather. Napoleon looked across the channel, thought about it, and basically said, yeah, I'll pass. Hitler actually put together a full invasion plan, named Operation Sea Lion. But even the German high command knew it was a long shot at best and national suicide at worst. So why is it so hard? What makes this little island one of the toughest places on Earth to invade? Well, let's break it down.
What's your guess? Island, crazy navy, very good military. That's got to be a good enough way to defend it.
And I mean, like, the southern coast has the cliffs and stuff, right? And that's usually where they get attacked from.
It's
the cliffs
pretty.
of Dover.
It's pretty hard to do a amphibious invasion of it, like where they land on the beaches.
Because in the World Wars, they just, like, laid artillery down all the time, right? They just bomb it from above, and they didn't, like...
They just bomb the cities at night all the time, I think, with the Luftwaffe or whatever the heck it was called. That's pretty scary. Like, a lot of the cartoons, like Peter Pan, I remember as a kid, like, they'd be in London and they'd be being bombed. Scary.
First up, the biggest and most obvious reason. The UK is a damn island. This might seem basic, but it changes everything. If you want to invade a country like France or Germany, you just roll your tanks over the border and boom, you're in. That's how the Germans did it in World War II. But the UK? Nope. No land borders, no highways to blitzkrieg through. If you want to get an army into Britain, you need to sail across water, and that's where the problems begin. The English Channel isn't just a tiny river you can hop across. It's 21 miles of open water at its narrowest point. And while that sounds short, barely a marathon, it might as well be 1,000 miles when you're trying to move hundreds of thousands of troops, tanks, artillery, and supplies. And here's the kicker. It's been this way forever. Britain has been using the channel as a natural defense barrier since before recorded history. Even in ancient times, Julius Caesar and the Romans had to plan for years just to pull off an invasion. And he had to do it twice, because the first time didn't go too well. Now add in the weather. If you've ever been to Britain, you know that the weather here is actively trying to ruin your day.
Don't ask me why. I've just woke up in a fucking steaming mood, yeah? Because I live in a shithole. It's a fucking shithole. I hate the fucking place. I fucking hate it.
It's completely unpredictable, with rain, storms, and wind that can turn the sea into a churning nightmare.
Jeez. That's scary.
The Spanish Armada found this out the hard way in 1588. They had 130 ships, thousands of men, and a plan to take England. But when they got to the Channel, storms and rough seas obliterated them. The British barely had to lift a finger. Nature did most of the work. The remnants of the Armada limped home, having achieved nothing. Even today, modern warships and transport vessels still have to account for bad weather. Storms can delay operations, rough seas can slow down ships, and fog can wreck visibility, making coordinated attacks almost impossible. So, before an invading force even gets to Britain, they're already dealing with some of the worst naval conditions on the planet. But let's say they somehow make it across. Now they have to deal with something even worse. Britain isn't just surrounded by water, it's surrounded by one of the most powerful navies on Earth. The Royal Navy has been a global force for centuries. Back in the 18th and 19th centuries, it was the most powerful navy in history, controlling trade routes and making sure nobody got close to the UK without permission. Today, it might be smaller, but it's still an absolute powerhouse. At the heart of the fleet are the Queen Elizabeth-class aircraft carriers, massive floating fortresses that carry squadrons of F-35 stealth fighters, some of the most advanced jets in the world. These carriers alone give Britain global reach, allowing them to strike enemies from hundreds of miles away. Then there are the submarines. The UK's Astute-class nuclear submarines are some of the stealthiest in the world. These things lurk under the waves, completely undetectable, tracking enemy ships without ever being seen. If an invasion fleet tries to cross the channel, you can bet that somewhere a British submarine is watching them. And the second they get close, torpedoes are going in the water. And it's not just high-tech ships. The Royal Marines are trained specifically for defending coastlines and stopping amphibious invasions.
Okay.
These guys are some of the toughest soldiers in the world, trained to fight in the harshest conditions, and they would love nothing more than to ruin an enemy's beach landing. By this point, most invading forces would have taken catastrophic losses, but let's assume by some miracle an enemy fleet actually lands troops on British soil. Now what? Bad news. Just because you
They use the most random B-roll ever.
Yeah.
It's just like random movies and stuff.
made it across the water doesn't mean you get to keep breathing. The Royal Air Force is next in line to shut down your invasion before it even gets going. The UK has Eurofighter Typhoons, which are some of the fastest, deadliest fighter jets on the planet. These things patrol the skies constantly, and the moment an enemy aircraft enters British airspace, they're getting locked onto. Then there's the Sky Sabre missile defense system, which can track and intercept enemy missiles and aircraft with pinpoint accuracy. Even long-range missile attacks are unlikely to succeed. Britain's air defense network is integrated with NATO's early warning systems, meaning the second an invasion is detected, reinforcements from France, Germany, and the United States are likely already mobilizing.
Yeah, that probably helps now in the current day and age, too. It makes it much harder to invade, the fact that they're surrounded by allies now, too.
They're literally like right in the middle, unless somebody just came straight up the Atlantic or something.
Which would be crazy.
Yeah.
An invading
It's like the UK has like these different walls of defenses. You have US over to the west, Europe over to the right, and then they're just right in the middle. Then if you somehow get through all of Europe, you still got to crawl across that channel and then get all the different lines of defenses. It's impossible.
Nearly impossible, according
Force
to this
has
video.
lost most of its navy, most of its aircraft, and probably half its troops. But let's say somehow a foreign army is standing on British soil. What happens next? The UK doesn't have the biggest army in the world, but what it does have is highly trained, highly professional soldiers. The paratroopers, the Royal Marines,
And home field advantage. I mean, look at Ukraine. Ukraine is so much smaller than Russia, and they've still been holding on all these years.
Way less troops, too.
It's crazy. Just defending your home makes such a big difference for that type of stuff.
the legendary Gurkhas, and of course the SAS, some of the most elite forces on the planet. These guys train in every kind of warfare imaginable. Jungle combat? Check. Arctic warfare? Done. Urban fighting? They love it. But even if an enemy managed to land somewhere and establish a foothold, they now have to hold it, and that's where the real problems start. The British people are not going to just roll over and accept occupation. The UK is a nation with a deep history of resistance. Even during World War II, when an invasion seemed possible, Churchill had a plan to turn Britain into a guerrilla warfare nightmare.
We shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall never surrender.
If it happened today, every town would become a battleground. And if things really got bad, the UK has nuclear weapons. The Trident submarine fleet is always out there, ready to launch a retaliation strike. So, is there any way to actually pull off an invasion of the UK? Probably not, but let's entertain two possibilities. The first scenario would involve a massive surprise cyber attack, crippling the UK's communication systems, air defense, and power grid before a single shot is fired. This would have to be coordinated with a naval and aerial assault using stealth aircraft, submarines, and long-range missiles to overwhelm British forces before they can fully mobilize. If London were effectively cut off and key military bases were neutralized, a fast-moving invasion force might try to establish control before the UK's allies could respond. But this plan...
Is this insinuating that America would be invading coming from this way?
I mean, they might be. They were insinuating earlier that it would be like the Chinese or whatever, the one clip they put, but now it's the US.
Oh, no.
Force might try to establish control before the UK's allies could respond. But this plan relies on Britain doing absolutely nothing while the enemy prepares. Highly unlikely. The second scenario is more unconventional but possibly more effective: an internal takeover. Instead of a traditional military invasion, an enemy could exploit political divisions, economic weaknesses, and social unrest to
That
destabilize.
seems like the very, very likely scenario, because that is so easy to do in 2025.
A lot of countries got their political divisions. The internet is pushing people in their little rabbit holes.
It is.
The country from within. This could involve cyber warfare, propaganda campaigns, funding separatist movements, and even covert operations to weaken the government. Once the UK is in chaos, a foreign power could step in under the guise of
There's
peacekeeping,
people way in that
establishing
dumpster.
influence without ever needing to land troops in force. But let's be real, both of these scenarios are long shots. The UK's intelligence services are some of the best in the world, and its military isn't exactly sitting around waiting to get blindsided. The truth is, invading Britain isn't just hard, it's damn near impossible. You'd have to fight the elements, outmaneuver one of the strongest navies in history, defeat a technologically advanced air force, and then somehow subdue an entire nation that historically hates being invaded. If you're thinking about it, just don't. Seriously.
Like all those countries that historically love being invaded.
Yeah. Well, I mean, personally, I'm kind of leaning towards liking getting invaded, you know? kidding. And I mean, they also have James Bond. It showed
Exactly.
Daniel Craig
Well,
over there.
it's new. It's a new James Bond.
True.
now.
They're in the hybrid phase, so they don't necessarily have one right now.
Interesting video. I mean, it's kind of what you expect. They have a strong military. They're on an island, and they don't like to be taken over.
Yeah, so it's cool to see. We'll learn a little bit of info and apparently get some tips on if it were to be invaded, how to do it.
Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Let us know other things we should check out from the UK down below, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.